Hi everyone, today I'm going to be doing another video in my minimalism series, just little tips and tricks that can help us all live a little bit more of a minimalist lifestyle. So this video is going to be about ways to stop impulse buying, which is a problem for so many of us. Everywhere we look, we are being told to buy things that we do not need. Every shop that you walk into, there are all these cute little items that are really good prices and you just feel the need to buy everything in sight. And every app that you open up on your phone, there's just more and more ads for different things that we're told that we all need, and it's so difficult to resist. But here are a few of my own personal tips and tricks as to how to avoid the trap, how to not spend your money on things that you don't necessarily need or want. So hopefully these tips can help you. I'm going to preface this video by saying that if this is not your goal, then these tips are not going to help you. It doesn't matter how much advice you seek, how much information you're given on this topic. If it is not your goal to stop impulse buying, to save your money for things that you're really needing to buy or wanting to buy, or if minimalism isn't something that's for you, then these tips probably won't help you. But the fact that you clicked on this video means maybe you do have some kind of interest in it. So if this is something that you really want, then maybe these tips can help kind of focus your mind on your ultimate goal of cutting down on the clutter in your home, cutting down on crazy spending on things that you don't need, and blah blah blah. I'm talking too much. Let's get into the list. Tip number 1 in order to avoid impulse buying is don't go shopping in the first place. If there's not something that you really need, then try to not browse through shops, because chances are if you go into one of your favorite stores without actually something that you do need to buy, you're going to find something that you don't need. So try just avoid that altogether and only go shopping when you actually need to. If shopping has become kind of a pastime for you or a way to spend time with friends or family, then try and find other ways to spend your time that are going to add more value to your life and are going to minimize the risk of you falling into the impulse buying trap. If you usually go shopping by yourself, then try and find another way to spend that free time that you have. Maybe take up an old hobby that you used to love, or a new hobby that you wanted to try, or just find something more productive to do or something more beneficial to yourself. And if shopping is something that you usually do with one of your friends or a boyfriend or such, then maybe you can find another thing that you can do with them. Maybe you can go on a day trip, or even just go for a coffee or go out for food. I will never ever regret spending money on food. Maybe that's just me. I just love food. But try and find a different way maybe to spend your time. If you have a friend or somebody in your life that absolutely must go shopping, then try and work on your priorities while you're there. Try and focus on enjoying your time with them rather than feeling the need to come home with bags of shopping. Tip number 2 is something that I actually implemented before minimalism came into my life. It was something that I implemented when I was trying to budget and save money. I keep a wish list on my phone at all times. It's basically a list of the things that I really actually want in my life, whether it's new shoes or something for my home, or just something that I've really thought about and something that I know that I actually do want to bring into my life. So that when I'm shopping, if I see something that I'm considering buying there and then, if it's not on my wish list, I feel a lot more disciplined that I don't need that item, I'm not going to buy it. The third thing on my list is to not settle for things that are not exactly what you want. So going back to that wish list idea, if there's something that's been on your wish list for a while and you haven't quite found the thing that really fits what you want or need, don't buy it. If you see something similar and you think, it can kind of fit that function, but it's not exactly what I had wanted, then don't settle for that. Especially if it's something that's lower quality than what you had actually wanted. Because you're now minimizing the things that you're buying and spending on, you now deserve to spend that little bit more on the thing that you really want, rather than finding something that's cheap that'll probably break within a few months, or just something that's not really what you had in mind. So just hold out and buy the thing that you actually wanted. Don't settle. Tip number 4 is not really a tip as such. It's kind of like a mindset that I somehow have fallen into, and I just wanted to share it with you because maybe it is something that you can train your brain to do. I'm not sure how I got to this point, but basically tip number 4 is to try and learn to appreciate items in other people's homes or in the stores, just to learn to appreciate them as things that are there and that you don't need to bring into your home. So for example, if you're looking at a load of beautiful stationery and you see like 4 or 5 different planners, obviously you can't buy 4 or 5 different planners. Who needs that? I don't know why I'm using this as an example, but try and appreciate that, yeah, that item is gorgeous, but I don't have a need for 5, you know? I do this a lot with home decor and clothing and different things like that. I can appreciate things from afar now without feeling the need to spend money and bring it into my home. But I'm not sure that that's something I can really give as a tip. I just wanted to share that with you. maybe it is something you can try. Tip number 5 is to try and sit on your purchases for a period of time. Basically, if you are out browsing and you find something that you like, or you see an ad on Facebook or something similar where a new item has kind of caught your attention and you think, wow, I really need that kind of thing, put it on your wish list, think about it for a while. Or if you're in a shop, you can even take a photo of that thing and go home and think about it. And if a few days later you're still thinking, yes, I need those pair of jeans, or I need that new plant, then go back and buy the thing. But if you go home and realize, yeah, that would have been an impulse buy, then hey, you've saved yourself €20 or whatever the cost was, and you haven't brought an extra thing into your house. And if after a few days or a week you still really love that item, then go for it. The 6th thing on my list is to ask yourself a few questions about that item. So I suppose this tip is kind of divided into 3 sections. The first thing I ask myself is how often I'm actually going to use that item. The first thing that always comes to my mind when I think of this one is a waffle maker. The amount of people who have told me that I need a waffle maker in my life. Very random, but I honestly cannot imagine ever using a waffle maker on a regular basis. So why would I go and buy one? If I want waffles, I will hunt for them. I will find vegan waffles somewhere if I really find the need to have waffles, but I don't need a waffle maker in my home. I'm sure there are so many more examples that I could use for that one, but really think, how often am I actually going to use this thing? If I really need it, is there someone that I can borrow it from? Can I find some other way around this item, or do I really genuinely need to bring it into my home? The second thing I always ask is, where am I going to store this thing? This one in particular I use for home decor all the time because I'm constantly seeing beautiful things that I think I need. But I always try to imagine when I'm going to buy that thing, where exactly am I going to put it? Whether it's a photo frame, a plant, or some kind of ceramic thing. I'm obsessed with ceramic statues and figurines and stuff, but I always try and imagine, where exactly do I need that thing in my home? And if I cannot think of a place to store that item or place that item, then I need to think about it some more. This tip is especially important if you live in a small space with less storage. When I was first becoming a minimalist, I lived in a tiny apartment, so storage was a huge thing for me. Now I live in a bigger house and it's actually difficult to not fill it with stuff because I always have somewhere to store things now. But definitely when I was first implementing minimalism into my life, storage was an issue, and I know it is for a lot of people. So if you cannot think of somewhere where you can store that item and it has its own place in your house, then you probably don't need it. The third thing I consider is, do I have something else that could fulfill that purpose? So say for example you see a really good set of kitchen knives. You probably already have good kitchen knives. Do you really need to replace them right now, or can you survive without this extra set of knives? I don't know why I'm talking so much about homeware. I know a lot of people watching are not people who are obsessed with their homes the way I am. Maybe you're a student in college or something else, but I'm sure you get the gist of what I'm saying and you can apply these examples to your own lives, hopefully. So yeah, those are the 3 questions I always try and ask myself. How often will I use it? Where is it going to be stored? And do I have something else that could fill that purpose? And the last tip on my list of ways to prevent impulse buying is to be wary of sales. Sales can be definitely used to your advantage because everybody loves a good bargain and pretty much everybody can benefit from saving extra money where possible. But try and approach sales with a very tuned in and focused mind. Do not buy things that you do not need. Do not buy broken objects just because they're on sale. Don't buy things for the following season if you're not really sure what you're going to need for the following season. Just be very focused when you're going into a sale, because a lot of us can just definitely lose the run of ourselves and just spend way too much money on things we don't need, and we will regret it later usually. Another thing that I've become a lot better about is keeping receipts and returning items if I regret buying them. And this kind of teaches me a lesson in a way, because if I've bought something and I come home and I'm like, oh my god, why did I spend my money on that? And I have to force myself to go all the way back to that shop with the receipt and take time out of my day to return the item, you can bet I'm going to be more careful next time. So try and force yourself to do that. And of course, returning items saves you space. You don't have to store that item, you don't have to dispose of it, and you're getting your money back. So there are positives to it as well, but it is very annoying having to traipse all the way back to return stuff. So it's a good lesson to teach you not to buy things unless you are sure. So those are my 7 ways that you can possibly reduce your impulse buying and impulse spending, and maybe some of them can apply to you, maybe not. But I'd love to hear your thoughts on all of this in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. I really appreciate when people do that. And if you've subscribed, then thank you so much. I really appreciate that as well. I will see you in my next video. Bye!